Hey, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the crash course of Photoshop Fundamental. And in this video, I'm going to discuss what to expect from the entire course and how long it might take for you if you distribute it to different days, and how soon and how well and what to expect from this course and all that. All right, let's get started. So our goal is to master essential tool and pro workflow of Photoshop, create clean edit, composite, and type effect, develop speed with shortcut and non-destructive editing, export confidently for web, print, and for social media. And with that goal, we have a course, and with all that course, we have a timeline. So if you want, you can follow this timeline, but there is no strict rule about this timeline. And there could be multiple cores in each of the day session, and we have provided this timeline into 5 sessions. In this first session, you will learn about setup, interface, and shortcut, which is the very basic. Shouldn't take 1 or 2 days, shouldn't take more than 1 or 2 days. And in the second session, we'll be learning about selection, masking, and layer, which shouldn't take more than 3 to 4 days, along with the basic session 1. And in the third session, we'll learn about retouching and correction. Next session, we'll be talking about text effect and compositing. And in the final session, we'll talk about the actual work, creative art, and export mastering. And the first session, as I said earlier, will have different courses. And the first course you will go through will be, first video you'll go through will be installing Photoshop and set up how to install it, and what can you expect from your computer with Photoshop, and how can you create a custom workspace with essential panel and set preset for brushes, shape, and gradient. And you'll also learn about interface, panel, and shortcut, and that covers our session 1. In this video, you will know about all the basic shortcut that in this session, you will know about all the basic shortcut that one person might need to be a professional. And in the second session, again, we'll be talking about selection and masking. That will include many different criteria like Marcos, lasso, quick selection and quick subject, select subject, refine edges for different kind of tricky cutout, and all that. It might sound unfamiliar right now, but I'm sure it will sound familiar when you actually go through the video. There will be layer, style, and blending within the same session. And in the next session will be retouching and workflow that will include separation, cleaning skin or texture, dodge, burn, etc. And in the next session, we'll be talking about typography, which work with text, font, and type effect. It could be 3D, it could be layered text, and whatever there is, all the advanced technique and technology that has been integrated in the Photoshop over the year will be taught. Compositing and atmosphere. Here we'll learn about blending images seamlessly and match color, add light, shadow, and realistic depth, create fantasy and surreal artwork. And in the final session, we'll learn about exporting like a pro. There are many different options for exporting in a different format, quality management, and all of that combined for different kind of purpose, like printing, or for personal work, or for office, for poster, different type of matter that come along with exporting will be taught. Now here is a map for all the topic that you will go through. If you have time, pause the video and take a look at the topic. Maybe this will give you some idea, and maybe this will be a head start. And for the second method, how you will learn. So obviously, we're going to go through the video, which will be short demos, guided practice, and mini project. There will be non-destructive Pro Studio technique and daily progress checklist and review, and efficiency challenges. And by the end of this course, you will know how to finish all module by the 18th and 10 topics per day, and have a toolkit of reusable PSD template and preset, create portfolio ready composite and text poster, and know exactly how to export your for any kind of destination, any kind of service or product. And with that, we're done with talking about what to expect in this entire course for Photoshop. I hope this video will be helpful for you and be a powerful guide throughout the journey. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we'll explore the Photoshop interface, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to confidently navigate to the Photoshop and know where to find the most important tools you'll use every day. All right, let's go through it. First of all, at the very top, you'll find the menu bar. This is where you access command like File, Edit, Images, and all that. This is what we call menu bar. And think of this as a control or control center of the Photoshop, like the control center of the window. Everything that you find here and on the side or in the middle can be customized through this menu bar. All right, in the right below the menu bar, you get to see option bar, which changes based on the tools that we pick. Keep your eyes on this part, the option bar. It changes based on the tools that we pick. Yeah, so this is option bar. For example, if I pick, currently it's in move tool, which can be navigated with shortcut is the V. Now, if I move to a pencil tool or pen tool, this gives me different option for controlling the path, for controlling the size of pen tool, and alignment, and many others. And this works for every other kind of tool. Every tool you pick will have different option. Every tool you pick will have different option and different variation, and this variation will be in the option bar. Now the tool panel. This is what we call tool panel. In this tool panel, you will find different kind of tools like move tool, rectangular marquee tool, and the lasso tool, the most important tool in the Photoshop. Quick object selection tool, which is very new in this version, and crop tool, frame tool, eyedropper tool, and all of this tool has their own shortcut. They are indicated within their windows, and as you can see, like this one can be triggered with keyword J, this one can be triggered with V, this one can be triggered with S, and this is pretty much self-explanatory. This is a clone stamp tool, this is a history brush tool, this is a eraser tool, and so on. There's color tool, blur tool, and there are text tool, shape tool, and tool for moving the canvas. And there are also description of each tool, what to do with each of the tool, and the option will show you the variation and the other feature offered by the same tool, and that is what we call tool panel. Take a look at the right side. You'll see panel. This panel include layer panel, which is this one, layer, channel, path, color control, and different options like properties, adjustment, libraries, and all that. Some of the basic option that almost every edit need, this will be here. Panels are customizable. You can drag and drop it. You can resize it, even close them based on your workflow need. Take a look at this. I can drag and drop it to create a separate window and then replace it bring it in the middle. If you don't like the size, you can increase or decrease the size of it. And like this, it is customizable. Now let's take a look at the canvas. The white part is what we call canvas. This is where we do all our painting, all our editing, all our work. This is actually the work, whatever the work you do is actually shown here. And if you have multiple file, you will have this tab option, which Photoshop can hold multiple canvas at the same time, where you can switch between them. Now, status bar. At the bottom, you'll find status bar. This status bar have useful information like the zoom level, the screen resolution, the slide bar, color profile, and all that. So yeah, this is everything that you need to know about Photoshop, I guess. But what I haven't covered is probably workspace. Photoshop offers different workspace for different tasks. For example, photography, graphic, and web motion. You can switch workspace from the top right corner or even create your customized workspace. Uh, so yeah, that will be it. To recap, let's go through the recap. We look through the menu bar, option bar. So this is the menu bar again. This is option bar right below the menu bar. This is toolbar. This is panel. This is canvas. And we have gone through it, introduced to all of the options and all the tabs, all the status bar and the information in the status bar and all that. Hope this video was helpful, and hopefully this will help you confidently move through your topic and Photoshop and edit more carefully as a beginner. That'll be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the video of Photoshop Fundamental, and in this video we're going to talk about all the basic shortcut a professional need in their day-to-day work life. Alright, let's get started. First of all, let's start with the very basic. Zoom in and zoom out. To zoom in or out, you need to touch your mouse circle and rotate it after you have pressed your control button in the keyboard corner. So press your control button and the keyboard corner and rotate your mouse. Or you can also press Control and plus of your calculator button or minus to zoom out. Well, sometimes you just need to have a perfect fit canvas in your workspace. You can achieve that just by pressing Control and 0. Now my canvas is perfectly fit. And the thing that you can do is hold spacebar and drag your element here and there. I mean, a spacebar works as a panning tool, like this. See, whenever I press spacebar, it just become enhanced. Okay, there's that. Now, for selection, which is really important, you need to use this constantly. Deselect, reselect, all that. For example, if I press Control and D, I'm creating a selection panel. Like this. Selecting different element. Now, if you want to reselect your last selection, suppose there's another, what do? You can press Shift, Control, and D. And you absolutely should know about the basic undo or redo, and I hope you already know that, which is Control Z and Control Y for redo. You can transform your file by pressing Control and T. This bring this edges around there, and with your edges you can resize them, even rotate them or flip them. This is what we call free transform. All right, there goes the selection basic. Now let's talk about basic brush and tool shortcut. Each of this tool has their own shortcut, and there are quite some tools and there are some variation of each tool. So I'm just going to go through the most basic and most used of all of them. For example, if I just press B, only B, we're selecting brush tool. For E, we're selecting eraser tool. For V, we're selecting the move tool. And if you want to toggle your brush size, you can press your third bracket. For example, this is in size 1. If I press our third bracket option, the second third bracket will increase the size and first third bracket will decrease the size. So there you go. This is some of the basic. And another thing that you might find helpful will be eyedropper tool, which can be triggered by eye, just eye. And there you go. Now you can select any color from the screen, and then by pressing B tool, B, you can have that color in your brush. There you go. Now you know about all the basic tool shortcut, and you know about selection shortcut and navigation shortcut. Now let's talk about layer shortcut. A layer shortcut will be, I hope you know about layer. This is what we call layer. And a layer actually help us in categorizing what we want and what we don't want to work with. For example, you have a flower in this canvas and you have a leaf in another layer, so that the flower and the leaf doesn't mix up. So you can open the two layers side by side or up and down and then work on one of them at a time. If I want to create a new layer, I should press Shift, Control, and N. This gives us an option to name our layer and choose color, default color for the layer, and mode. You can also choose opacity, which can be adjusted anytime, and click OK to have your new layer. If I want to just duplicate this layer, as you can see, one of them is background free and another has a white background. If I want to duplicate this white background one, I can press Ctrl and Z, and that becomes a copy. If I want to merge this two layers, I should press Ctrl and E, and now they're merged. If you want to bring this layer to the top, you can press Shift, Control, and second of the third bracket. And if you want to send them to the bottom of the layer, suppose I have another layer, and if I want to send this to the bottom of this all layer, bottom of all the layer, you should press Control Shift and first of the third bracket. And there you go. Now before I go, just some quick tips, like if you want to switch between tools, hold Shift and press plus tool for cycling through different hidden tools. Or you can snap to edges or turn on snapping under view, or use workspace, like set up a custom workspace with only the panels you need. That actually makes your shortcut uses much more easier. And if you use preset, that is like another shortcut. It saves you time and it saves you a lot of effort. And that will be it. Thank you for watching. Just let me go through the recap. We have covered a digital shortcut for navigation, selection, brushes, layer, and this workflow tips. And now all you have to do is practice it yourself. The more you practice, faster you learn. And thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the video of Photoshop Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about some of the most important tools in Photoshop. And I've talked about already about Move tool, Lasso tool, and Marquee tool. And in this part, we're going to talk about Slice, Crop, and Eyedropper tool. And cropping is pretty much self-explanatory, and I suppose you do use it in your day-to-day life more than often. That is why I'm going to show it to you, just because I can go through step by step. To go to crop tool, you can select this one, this tool right here, and otherwise you can just press C to go to the crop tool. In the crop tool, it's just obvious. You create a cropping, and there you go. This is what cropping does. Now you know about cropping. How about eyedropping tool? Eyedropping tool is particularly efficient when you are working with brush or something related to color or pencil. Let me show you. Suppose this is a brush tool which currently have a red color. Now if I press I, this become an eyedropping tool, which means wherever I go, whichever color I hover through, this color will be picked up and added to my color palette. There was red, but if I go over green now and click here, my color next time will be blue. As you can see. So this is actually what eyedropper tool does. You can activate this by pressing I. Now, another thing that I wanted to show you is Slice, another complex tool, which many of us not find it necessary to use, but it is really necessary when you're working with this kind of images, when you have different kind of character, and if you're working with sprite sheet, this really comes in handy. To access that Slice tool, you need to go to this crop tool by C and right click here. There you will see Slice tool. Now you just have to make a slice of each character. This one. And as you can see, Photoshop automatically creating slides and numbering them, creating sequence, so that it just become much easier for us to understand. And with that, we have many different slices to work with, and each slice contains one of the character here. All right, so I have 5 or 6 character. Now I want to export them separate. To do that, I need to go to File, Export, Save for Web Legacy, and save it. Make sure you have slices, all slices selected, and make sure that you're saving it in a place where you can access later. All right. This is the folder in my desktop that I'll be saving these files. There you go. Now let's check if it's actually working. In the new folder, the new folder. To save it separately, you need to go to File, Export, Save for Web Legacy, and save it. Make sure to save it in a familiar space where you know the place. I'm just going to save it in desktop because this is the most familiar space I can get. And hopefully when I open the desktop, I will see all the slices separately. And within desktop, there's a new folder in the image where I was able to find all of this separately as a separate character. And as you can see, this is how they look. A little bit different, I guess. But anyway, our work was done. So yeah, this will be it. This is how you can crop, slice, and use the eyedropping tool in your Photoshop. Hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. In this lesson, we'll explore some of the most commonly used Photoshop tool for painting, editing, and retouching. The brush tool, eraser tool, clone stamp, and healing tool. The brush tool is one of the most powerful tool in the Photoshop, and we're going to talk about that at first. You can use it to paint on your canvas just like a real brush. You'll find it in the toolbar, obviously. If you just press B, you are already selecting the brush tool. Now you can see the different option with which you can adjust the size of the brush, the hardness of the brush, different mode, opacity, flow, smoothing, and a lot more. Now let me show you what actually this brush tool does. So I just zoomed in, and as you can see, I can see clearer. Now if I draw with the brush tool, this will clearly look like this. Now we can adjust it a bit. If I press I, this is going to get the eyedropper tool, and if I select this, now I have this color of their skin tone. Again, going with the brush, maybe increasing the size will help. Decreasing the hardness will also reduce the opacity. And let's try to make it smooth. Come on, let's try to get rid of this pimple. Maybe a little bit bigger size will help more. And there you go. This is one of the way to use brush tool in your editing. Now the next is eraser tool. Well, eraser tool does what it says. It erases stuff and it makes actual difference. It just turns everything to white. Now this is helpful when you have already used brush tool on a different layer. Now this layer, let's try to create a new layer. Suppose nothing actually happened. I didn't use the brush tool. And now for the first time, I'm going to use the brush tool again. Okay, there you go. Now there are some problem because I don't like it. The brush tool doesn't work. So what do I do in this case? Now if I switch to eraser, I can remove this part. Again, I can enlarge, increase hardness, the size of an eraser tool, also the opacity. Now what I need to do here is just remove this brush. So the opponent of brush tool is this eraser tool. You can access this by pressing E. And obviously there are variant of this, like background eraser tool, which will which will make the background transparent in a certain places. Like this one, as you can see. Previously it was white, but now we get to see the background. So this is one of the way to use brush tool, but there are definitely better way. And if I am talking about a better way, clone stamping tool is definitely one of those tools. To get to the clone stamping tool, you can look for it right here, or you can press S. That will take you to clone stamping tool. Look for the variants. Now what I need to do is again increase our size of this brush. And I need to use it on the layer, actual layer, not okay. So first of all, I need to press Alt to select the place where I'll be cloning, and I'll be cloning this part. Now let's try this. Now what this is doing is copying the skin color or skin texture directly into this part. I can do it multiple times. And this. Okay, it's not perfect, but you get the idea. If you are professional in this, you can definitely fix this. So there you go. That was clone stamping tool. Finally, the healing tool that are Photoshop smart retouching tool in the latest update. The most common one that is what the healing brush tool, and you can access that by pressing Z. Or you can always look for it in the toolbar and find the clone healing tool. So what does it do? Well, it turns out it also does similar to that. It paints, but it tries to heal any of the missing object like this. For example, I have a red dot right here and I want to heal this part. There you go. It's like the AI eraser, but a little bit of primitive version because it's not perfect as much as AI generated eraser. I know that the current AI generated eraser is also not perfect. Again, take a look at this red dot. But this is by far the best tool we have for doing this kind of work, removing pimple or removing scar. There you go. And with that, we now have the knowledge of brush tool, eraser tool, clone stamping tool, and healing tool. And if I have to rank it this way, I would rank it brush tool being the last one. Then we got better option as clone stamp tool. And the best option we have for this kind of eraser tool is healing tool. And that will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. How are you doing? Well, welcome to another video of Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about the setup tool. All right, our topic will be color picker, swatches, and gradient. Okay, let's start with color picker. The color picker lets you choose any color for painting, text, shape, or effect, any kind of color. Wherever you need color, you get to use color picker. To use color picker, suppose this is a white line and this is a black lion or a puma, whatever you want to call it, Black Panther. And now I want this to be also a Black Panther. I can go to the layer of that tiger and select the black here, or I can use color picker. Like if I press I, it automatically select the color picker tool. Now all I have to do is go to the black lion or Black Panther here, press. Now this fill will be black. And this is how exactly color picker work. You just have to go over the color that you want to use, and that color will automatically be in our palette. So yeah, that is what we call color picker. And the next thing that I want to show you is swatch. Now swatch is easier now because here you get to see the swatches in the recently used color, and this is what we call swatch. Since this floating panel is always here, you don't actually need the swatch, but if you are comfortable with the swatch and not very fond of this, you can always go to Windows and select swatches right here. And there you go. There you will have all the recently used color and all the color that you can think of within your grasp. You just need to select the swatches from here and it will be here like this. And there you go. So this is swatch. Now you can pick any color and add it to the swatch. Doesn't matter. As you can see, I have picked white in recent time and it's been added to my swatches. Just click that color you want to use and swatches will collect it in their palette. Swatches save time and ensure color consistency across all your design. That's what I like about swatches. Then again, you always have this option to use your recently used color from here. Another thing, gradient. Gradient creates smooth blend between two or more color. Like this is a red color. And what if I want to blend it with more color? For that, I need to use the gradient tool and it's in the toolbar. You just need to find it from here, or you can press a Z to find the gradient tool. Now, when you have the gradient tool selected, choose a preset like black or white and drag across your canvas. All right, let's try that. Go gradient tool here. And in this gradient section, you get to see a different kind of gradient related to what you already have. And as you can see, I have red and white. There you go. And if you don't want to do with the gradient, you can apply a whole gradient in the whole canvas like this. It doesn't only have to be any object. Well, gradients just add depth in lighting and creative effect. So let's see what we have learned so far. We now know about swatches, we know about color picker, and we know about gradient, how to use it, and how to apply it in your work. That'll be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about different tools of Photoshop, which include Marquee tool, Move tool, and Lasso tool. The three most important tools while working with Photoshop. All right, we'll start with Marquee tool. This is a tool where you get to work with different shape, like rectangular Marquee tool and elliptical Marquee tool. There could be row and column Marquee tool. This is really helpful when you are trying to select an object based on shape. And you can even create actual rectangle or circle with this tool. Suppose I have this rectangular Marquee tool, which can be selected by just M. Now, this can be done in many different ways, but with Marquee tool, it just becomes easier because after selecting a certain part of the image, you get so many options to select inverse, feather. Feather is really a helpful option because with feather, you get to ease out this shape or obvious shape. You can also save the selection for later use, and you can fill, stroke, or create a content error fill, which is closer to generative AI. And yeah, but what I'm going to do in this case is I'm just gonna fill this with a color. Let's say a red color. And there you go. There's other option like creating a elliptical tool, creating a circle. I'm just going to open a new layer. And again, from this one, if I right click it, I get all of this option. And if I have to click elliptical Marquee tool with the circle icon and create a circle this time. Now the circle might be distorted or look a little bit different, but if you want a perfect circle, you should press shift, and that will always give you a perfect circle in different sides. Again, I'm just going to fill this, but this time I'm going to do it with pattern. And there you go. So this is Marquee tool. Now what I'm going to talk about is move tool. If you press V, you go to move tool. Now this is important because as you can see, these two are in two different layers. What I want to do is select this layer each time I have to work with each of them. But if you have this auto select option ticked, you can just select your element and that will automatically select your layer like this. Keep your eyes on this side and see how these layers are selected. If I press the circle, the first layer is selected. If I press the red square, the second layer is selected. Now I'm ready to work with this. Alright, so that's it. That's about it in the move tool. You can do a little bit more if you want to go to artboard tool. You can just crop the whole tool with this, crop the whole canvas with this tool. But we don't want that. What we want is just to move. So that's move tool. Another thing that you need to know is lasso tool. If you press L, it goes to lasso tool. A lasso tool is great for selection. You just need to draw a shape to select a certain part of the object. And there you go, you have done it. Now with different other tool, like move tool, I can now let's try that again. With lasso tool. Now I can select that part of the circle with move tool. Like this. Or and again, if you do right click, you'll find different option like polygonal lasso tool, which creates a line, straight line that you have to connect each time like this. It's good for accuracy, but it also take a lot more time. And then we have again this magnetic lasso tool. And with this magnetic lasso tool, you can do more or less the same thing, but as I said, with less time consuming option. As the polygonal option. And when we're done selecting this, you can again use your V or move tool to do your step. Just make sure to press enter after you're done selecting. So yeah, that will be it. Now you know about move tool, lasso tool, and marquee tool and their different uses. That will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about two of the most important tools while doing vector drawing, which are shape tool and pen tool. These tools are pretty much self-explanatory, but what I'm going to do is show you how to properly use them. Let's start with shape tool. Here we have the shape tool. First, you'll see the rectangle here, and then you can draw it. You will have this option to fill. You can choose a color or a color from the palette, or you can pick a color by pressing I and choosing a color like this. And then click OK to have your square filled. There you go. Now you have a rectangle with red color. Then we got circle. And as you can see, this circle is not perfect. If you want to create a perfect circle, you need to press Shift while drawing it. So let's try doing that. Shift and circle. There you go. Again, you can change the color here. And rest of them are pretty much same, while custom has their own unique system. You can choose different kind of shape, a more shape, like a wild animal, leaf, books, or boat, and flower. Or you can create your own shape by, if you want to use pen tool. Let's try to use own shape. Now to use pen tool, you just need to press P. There you go. Now you have pen tool. Now give it a dot here and here and here and here, and you made a circle. There are different kind of pen tool. I probably had the curvature pen tool. That is why there was curvature in each dot. But a normal pen tool like this will create a circle or a square like this as you draw. Now after the circle, sometimes you need to go to this right click this shape and select mix selection and click OK, and then fill it with color by pressing here. Well, most of the time you have to do it, but sometimes you don't have to do it if your workspace is ready. And that basically it. This is how you should use your shape tool and paint tool. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. There, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to on the video of Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about all the blending and style that your layer offer. All right, let's get started. First of all, let's talk about layer style or effects. So, layer style are preset effect that you can apply to any layer like text, shape, or images and make them stand out. How to do it? Well, you just have to double click any layer. And when you do, not the text, when you do, there will be this layer style. And you just have to select it. Select preset from this style. There are other style like this already, which comes with contour and texture. And as you can see, something has changed here, and that is because of the layer style. You can do many things like you can increase or decrease the depth, smoothness, size, angle, color. You can also change the burning effect. Let's switch back the colors a bit. Multiply instead of black, let's bring a little bit more red. And there you go. This is what it looks like now. So yeah, this is one of the way to do it. And that is what we call layer style. Another thing that we get to use with layer is blending mode. In blending mode, you can control how layer interact with layer beneath it. Instead of just stacking, blending mode just fix color, brightness, or contrast in general. Now to find the blending mode, you just need to select any of the layer here, this one, and this is what we call blending mode. This could be lighten, screen, color dodge, linear dodge, lighter color overlay, and all this option. Some of the most common are normal mode, darken mode, lighten mode, contrast mode, and inversion mode. You can also press Shift and then plus. There you go, one of the way. And I bet this looks much more realistic than this one. Now, the principle was it will interact with the layer beneath this. That is why I'm just going to remove this and see if there's any changes. And there you go. If I remove this background, the interaction between this layer and the first layer just vanishes. Now, this is one of the way to use blending method. But it's up to you how you want to use it. And the thing that layer also offer is effect or filters, advanced layer tricks. So filter, there are effect. Now let's try the filter option with another picture. Look at this. First, I need to select the layer, and there on top, you get to see the filter option. And you can see all this option for filtering: noise, blur, gallery, render, sharpen, stylize, and so on. Let's go with blur. And I'm just going to go with Gaussian blur. And radius will be this. Maybe not that much. Okay. And there you go. And this is how you can add filter with on the layer. It's, by the way, only in this layer, not on the layer below or on top of it. So yeah, let's see what we've learned so far. We know if you double click it, you get to bring this style bar where you can use different kind of style. And if you select this option, you get to color diffuse it. And you also can filter with this option. And that will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop. In this video, we're going to talk about layers, everything about layer. So the layer is actually this part, which you should have, but in case if you don't have, you can always click F7 to bring it back. Suppose this is what it would look like if there was no layer. But if you press F7, it will be back. And if you're not sure about pressing F7 or for some reason F7 is not working, you can always go to Windows and bring back layer by selecting this option, layer. There you go. Now you know about layer and how to bring it back. Now let's talk about creating a new layer, which can be done by pressing Ctrl Shift and N. Let's try that. Ctrl Shift and N. And I get a new prompt to create a new layer. I'm going to name this layer, let's say, hello layer. And you also get to select how much opacity the layer will have, because this will stand over another picture or a graphic. And you can also select the blend mode, how it will blend with other layer. And you can also select color to just identify it. And then click OK. And there you go. This is my hello layer. And now you know about creating layer. Now let's talk about selecting layer. To select a layer, you just need to press Ctrl and click, like any other thing that you get to select. So press Ctrl and click and click. And then if you want, you could delete that all at once. Or you can have a combined action like merge shape, merge visible, flatten image, and new group, all that. So that was the third step, and now you know about creating layer, selecting a color for layer, you know about renaming and reordering layer, and you know about selecting multiple layer at once. About renaming and reordering, you can just drag and drop it from there to here. Like this. This is reordering. And if you want to rename it, you just have to rename layer from here. After you've done right click with your mouse on top of layer. So this is how you do rename. And this icon here hides the layer. You also get to choose the opacity. If you select a layer, suppose this one hold actually nothing. I'm just going to remove this. This layer hold my transparent tiger, and this one hold my red tiger. If I select this and decrease the opacity to almost 0, this just vanishes. And with increased opacity, it's appear little by little, right? And this is how you can control opacity. So now you know about opacity, hide, and there's also lock, which means no edition will be done in this layer. You just need to select a layer and then press this lock button right here. I hope you're having no problem while looking at my cursor. And there you go, this is locked. Now you can also copy this and duplicate it just by pressing Control and Z to duplicate. There you go, I have a duplicate layer. And if you want to arrange this with keyboard, you can do so by pressing Control and third bracket option. Look at this. Layer mask, which means you get to use a mask where some of this will be hidden. To add a layer mask, you just need to point at the mask and hide it. So select a layer like this and add mask. Right here, create clipping mask. So yeah, that's it. You can also choose layer style, by the way. If you want to choose a layer style, which means suppose there's a layer, only white and black color will be there. To do that, you just need to click an empty area of a layer. And there you will find this option like blend, add normal. First of all, you need to select the unlocked version, not the locked version. And if it's locked, just unlock it. And then there will be this blending option. So we get layer, lighten, screen, color dodge, different kind of option. If you want to use any of this style, you're welcome to do so from here. And with that, I'm finishing this layer introduction tutorial. That will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about mask, layer mask, and clipping mask, both kind of mask. So a mask, if you don't know what it is, mask actually a control of visibility without deleting the pixel, which means it just hides. If you paint black, it will hide. If you paint white, it will reveal. Or yeah, like this. This is true for layer mask, but in clipping mask, it's a little bit different. Bottom layers shape act as a stencil for layer above the grid. Now, it is good for putting images inside text, constraining adjustment to the shape. All right. To use mask, you actually need to set it up. By setting it up, I mean you need to go to Windows. And from the Windows, you need to go to Properties. If you already don't have it, since I had it, I didn't need it, but if you don't have it, you'll have to bring it back here. Now, this is not recommended. I mean, this is not really necessary, but it is recommended. Anyway, let's start with the layer mask. The layer mask can be found here. First of all, make sure you have selected the right layer where you want to work. And this is where the layer mask is. If you hover over, I'm sure this will pop up and say that this is layer mask. If you want a short tutorial, beyond this tutorial, this will work for you. Anyway, click the layer mask and there you'll see a white background. This transistor transmitter says a lot. There are feather, there are density, and there are refinement. You can adjust them to make your mask more well, accurate. All right. To use this mask, you need to select B, press B to select the brush. And let's say I want to hide this part. Now this pixel are not actually deleted. This is just hidden. If you want to bring it back, you just need to press X. It's about the X. If you press X, now the next time you paint it, it's going to be, well, it's going to be interesting. Let's try that again. If I brush with white color, this is what I get. Then again, if I press X and do this again, all the hidden pixels come back. This is the power of mask. You can increase or decrease this effect by selecting feather more or less and the density. You can adjust it according to your needs. There you go. So this is the basic layer mask. And if you want to do clipping mask, then for clipping mask, I have this layer over the main layer. To use clipping layer, I need to select the main layer, the sub layer, and then find create clipping mask. Or we can do this just by pressing Ctrl Alt and Z. Now clipping mask has been applied. Let's take a look. Now the layer has defined visibility. We can stack multiple clip layer like this, add layers adjustment above the clip layer, and each one of them will inherit the last one. You can even clip this as a group. Put layer in group, and then clip this. I hope you know about grouping. You just have to select by pressing Control and click the layer. There you go. Now you can, if there's any other layer that isn't already clipped, you can do this. You can add them to clipping layer. And like this, you can create a layer in mask layer and clipping layer. That will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop tutorial. And in this video, we're going to talk about all the selection process that you can have in Photoshop. We're talking about marquee, lasso, and quick selection. Let's start with marquee tool. To start with marquee tool, you just need to click M, and there you go. Or you can go to toolbar and find your tool like this. If you right click it, then you'll see a different kind of marquee, and based on what you want, you can select your tool. Most of the time I usually use the circle because that gives me two options, either to make a random circle like this, or if I press shift I can create a perfect circle like this. And then I cover the selection area that I want and do many kind of modification to the image. Let's do something like that. You can also adjust the option like feather. For example, if I want to add a little bit white, or as you can see, there's a little bit dark in this part. I want to change that. Let's add let's add some color here, and I'll be brushing that off. As you can see, the brush is not affecting at all outside of the bound. Right? So this is one of the way to use marquee tool, and if you want, you can use feather. And if you use feather, this will not have any edge, or if it does, it will gradually not have an edge. Let me show you. First, let me select the feather. Okay, the feather is cool. And then brush. There you go. Now, as you can see, you probably can. This has a little bit age problem, which means that this has been slowly decrease its effect. That is because of the feather. Now, if you want this effect to have more range, you can increase the feather, and that will probably satisfy you. Now we can do a lot more. You can modify or smooth the border, or you can adjust the feather from here. Feather radius. You can transform the selection if you want, mm, like this. If you want, you could rotate 180, 90 degree, flip it, or you can transform it in a different way, like this. Or you can mask that part. Or even, you can even fill this with color. All right. So yeah, this is one of the way to use marquee tool. Next, we're going to talk about lasso tool. To use lasso, you need to press L, and then go to right click it with your mouse and then go to the lasso here, and then you can create a selection like this. You just have to do it in on go, you can't stop. Now this lasso can be more flexible if you use polygon lasso. Or you can even advance with magnetic lasso tool. This is much more flexible, as you can see. Now all of this also just selects thing, nothing much. When you're done selecting it, you can press enter to finish your selection, and then all of the options that you had before will be the same. You can add blur, and you can add a color fill, or you can invert any of them, whatever you want. Let's fill that with a different color, maybe black. While using this magnetic tool, you can press backspace to remove the last anchor, like this. So that was lasso tool. And the selection tool will be quick selection or magic wand. To activate that, you need to press Z. There you go. This is healing tool. It's the shortcut has changed. We need to find quick selection tool, also known as magic wand. This is blur tool. Let's see. Okay, there you go. So we can do this with patch tool. And as a selection, you can make different kind of change like this. You can select subject or object selection. And if you use this tool, you can click an area to select pixel similar to color, or you can use Alt or Option while dragging to the subtract. And that's basically it about selection. So now you know about selecting with this marquee tool, you know about lasso tool, and you know about wand tool, which now change. And that will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about A to Z, everything about masking. First of all, let's talk about what is masking. So masking is a non-destructive method of editing photo. We call it non-destructive because we have an alternative, which is we call erase. If you work with eraser, you're essentially destroying the part of the pixel. But if you are working with masking, you're just hiding it. You're not destroying the pixel. Instead, you're hiding the pixel. And when you paint it white, it comes back. That is why the masking is called non-destructive method of photo editing. All right, let's get started. As you can see, I have this image and I have this mask ready here. Now to add this mask, what you need to do is go to select your layer where the picture is and press this button right here. This is what we call layer mask. Since I already have it, I'm just going to remove this mask. I don't need two. Now to paint your mask, you need to press P and then draw the part where you want the mask to be. Now since we have this, how about we paint it white? As you can see, painting black hides the part and painting white should reveal what was lost. And this is how masking works. Alright, so this is the very basic. And you also know about brush tool, I'm assuming. So this is a non-destructive method, and I already showed you what a destructive method looks like. Let's add a new layer and a new picture here. There you go. And it's a little bit too short for to work with this one, but I think it will do just fine. I'm going to bring it below this one. All right, now it's time to work. Let's try to add the mask again. Painting black, hide the pixel. So let's do that. And as you can see, the false, the picture false is coming to her eyes. And I think that looks amazing. And her tear can be described in this way. It's a little bit corny. I'm just gonna keep the eye though. Okay, that works. If you want to bring back the pixel again, all you need to do is paint it white with the brush tool instead of black. And there you go. We can do obviously more. What we can do in this case is, let's say, select subject and refine the edge with brush and layer mask, blend with gradient mask. If you go to gradient tool and choose this black to white, you can see the changes are only being made to the part where my mask is. There you go. This is what we call gradient mask. And you can refine this further with the brush tool. For example, there's too much white in this place. That is why I'm just gonna remove that one with my own white. There you go. You can also add texture with clipping mask. For that, you need to import your texture and place it above the portrait layer, which is this one. This is the one that we are calling portrait layer. And yeah, that's basically it. This is what you can do with mask and use it in your Photoshop and editing. That will be all. Thank you for watching. There, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about subject selection and refining edges. Let's talk about selecting subject. First, we need to go to the select option. And here, if I click subject, you can see this is automatically selecting our subject. There's actually just one subject, that is why it's selecting just only one subject. But if there was multiple person, multiple subject, the selection process would take some time, but it would select all the subject. This is what we call subject selection. Now you can easily do your work without thinking about the selection process that you usually do with marquee tool or lasso tool or the other tool you use. And you can obviously use this quick selection tool to fill or mask or create inversion. And if you don't think that the selection is selection is perfect, you can always transform the selection by increasing or decreasing it, or you can even rotate it. Anyway, this is how it works. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is refining edges. It's basically mask. To do that, after making a selection like this, you just need to click select and mask in the option bar. Just right click here or anywhere within the selection and click select and mask. Now this area has been added to the mask. Now what you need to do is choose a view mode, use on white or black or overlay to clearly see the edges. There you go. You can use this option to show your edges or show the original. Add your transparency level, add radius, add feather. If you want, you could make it a little bit more smooth. Add feather, add contrast. Or you can just clear the selection. So yeah, this is what you can do with this mask option that you have. And that'll be it. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop Fundamental, and in this video we're going to talk about dodge and burn. In Photoshop, dodge and burn is one of the most powerful retouching methods, and the goal is to brighten or darken certain areas to fix uneven tone or depth in a picture. We will try to use a non-destructive method. Let's start by a duplicate layer. Let's go to layer and find a new fill layer, solid color, and let's set the blending mode to overlay with the opacity of 50%. And I'm going to name this dodge and burn. Let's add a color of gray, which will be 80, 80, 80. There you go. And in this stage, what we need to do here is set up the brush tool. You can do so by pressing B. That's what I did actually. Select the brush tool or from the toolbar.
Let's add our flow to 3% and make sure that your hardness is set to 0%. First, let's fix some small inconsistent skin, brighten dark spot or darken the light spot, like painting balance into the skin. I'm going to paint some white in the dark spot. But first of all, I need to change the sizes. Okay, there are some dark spots here. And let's add some darkness in the lighter spot. Now we'll shape the face with light shadow like digital contouring. For that, let's add some white into the center of forehead, nose, let's zoom in a little bit and see if we can change any spot any difference. And let's add some darkness into the jawline. And again, some whiteness into these areas where they need to shine. Maybe side of nose needs some darkness here. Not that much. Maybe here. Definitely some here. And there you go. This is what we call macro dodge and burn, which is also known as face sculpting. Now this can be done automatically if you have the AI feature purchased. For that, you need to go to filter, find the neural filter, and from that there will be retouching option and light sculpting. You can also adjust curvature layer method, which is a more professional method. With that, you need to create an adjustment layer, drag a curve, and invert the mask. If they're done right, dodge and burn makes the skin looks much smoother and give it much more depth and dimension without losing the texture. Is a secret professional magazine or style retouching. Now let's take a look. I know it's not actually perfect, but if it was done correctly, I guess you'd say that there was some difference and there was more depth to the picture now. And there you go. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop Fundamental, and in this video we're going to go through the process of retouching. Well, let me talk a little bit about retouching. Retouching is a method where we separate a picture into two layers, one for texture and another for skin or color tone shadow. This way we can retouch skin smoothly without making it look blurry or fake. And we'll try to remove the pimple from the face with this method in this video. And for that, what we need to do is duplicate a layer. You can do this by pressing Ctrl and Z. There you go. And I'm going to rename this one is high frequency. And rename this one for low frequency. I mean, you don't really have to rename it, but I'm just doing it for the purpose of sharing with people so that it just looks professional. Okay, let's go with the blurring. The low frequency layer hold color and tone and blur. And what we're gonna do is remove the fine details while keeping this skin tone very much visible. Let's go to the low frequency tab, low frequency layer, and here we need to go to filter, find blur. From the blur, find Gaussian blur. And just adjust your blurriness by looking at this picture. Whatever hides this part of the pimple. Maybe just 2 will do, or yeah, 2.5. There you go. Now the changes will not be unnoticed. Changes will not be noticeable at the first point. So let me just go through all of that process and then we can do a comparison. Okay. So we're done with the blurring. Now in the high frequency one, what you want to do is go to image and apply image. And from the sources, if there's the low frequency layer available in the source, you can select that in your version of Photoshop. But in this version, I'm going to go in the layer and select the low frequency. That will apply the blurriness that I applied to the low frequency into this high frequency chamber, high frequency picture, a layer. Another thing that we can do is blending. Blending should be set to subtract. And the scale should be 2. Well, that didn't work, so let's add instead of subtract and increase the scale to 2. Okay, that worked. Now what we need to do is we have successfully separated a low frequency and high frequency layer. And now what we need to do is separate them. Now we successfully separated the both layer. In the low frequency, we have tones and colors, and the high frequency, we have texture and details. Together, they create the original photo. Now the retouching process begins. And the first step of this retouching process is fixing any uneven skin. We'll even out the areas and smooth color transition without destroying the pores. That is the purpose, at least. Now, how do you do it? Let's go to the low frequency layer and use lasso tool. Uh, there you go. And I'm going to select this area where the problem is. And here I'm going to apply this Gaussian blur. Now what we need to do is let's go to high frequency. We'll clean up this small problem here that we got on the texture without touching the skin tone. For that, I'll try to use cloning stamp tool and set it to current layer. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Let's do the same for this other part. Oh, the problem is half salt. Okay. That works. Now, if you want, you could use healing tool at this point. You can select the high frequency and use your healing tool on top of the problem areas. There you go. If you want, you could make the brush a little bit larger. And there you go. And as I said, this is a non-destructive method. And with that, we're done. Okay, that'll be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the video of Photoshop Fundamental. And in this video, we're again going to talk about text, but in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create a 3D and layered text effect with the text. Previously, I've showed you how to customize your text and title and in paragraph within the text layer instead of doing it on the image. And in this video, we're going to go a little bit more advanced and let us transform that text into eye-catching 3D layered effect, which will be perfect for poster, titles, or digital graphics. Alright, let's get started. First of all, you need to start with the basic text. I already had the text. If you don't have a text, you should start with the text here and write it down. Just add anywhere, click anywhere within the canvas and start writing. Change your font style, font size, give it a little bit more character with the underline or other option that you got here. Now, one of the easiest way to do that is to go with emboss, bevel or emboss. I'm going to add this only to the title. To do that, we need to go to the blending option. Just right click on the layer and find this blending option. And here, let's go with bevel and emboss. And as you can see, this creates a 3D effect like this. And that is what we're hoping to get in our text. What we need to do is set the style in that. Okay, let's add that. And you can already see that effect. Now let's add some shadow. I'm looking for drop shadow. And there you go. Now it's more diverse and 3D looking. Now this is one of the way. Another way to do this is to create a fake 3D extrusion. To do that, let's go to the beginning when there was no 3D effect or bevel and emboss effect. I'm going to again create a duplicate of this layer. Now since we have two layers, I can create a 3D effect like creating a shadow. First of all, I need to make it dark. So let's make it dark, or just give it a dark font color. It has to be darker, not actually dark. So let's go to a little bit darker side, not the dark side. And there you go. And now I just need to move a few pixels below that. There's 47. I'm going to give it 50. And there you go. A little bit 3D effect. Maybe a little bit more will work. 53. Picture 1 will do. I think a new kind of font will work better here for both of them. And there you go. Now we have a fake 3D option, which is not actually 3D but looks kind of 3D because of the color and placement. And that is one of the way to do it. That will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about A to Z, everything about masking. First of all, let's talk about what is masking. So masking is a non-destructive method of editing photo. We call it non-destructive because we have an alternative, which is we call erase. If you work with eraser, you're essentially destroying the part of the pixel. But if you are working with masking, you're just hiding it. You're not destroying the pixel, instead, you're hiding the pixel. And when you paint it white, it comes back. That is why the masking is called non-destructive method of photo editing. Alright, let's get started. As you can see, I have this image and I have this mask ready here. Now to add this mask, what you need to do is go to select your layer where the picture is and press this button right here. This is what we call layer mask. Since I already have it, I'm just going to remove this mask. I don't need two. Now to paint your mask, you need to press P and then draw the part where you want the mask to be. Now, since we have this, how about we paint it white? As you can see, painting black hides the part, and painting white should reveal what was lost. And this is how masking work. All right. So this is the very basic, and you also know about brush tool, I'm assuming. So this is a non-destructive method, and I already showed you what a destructive method looks like. Let's add a new layer and a new picture here. There you go. And it's a little bit too short for to work with this one, but I think it will do just fine. I'm going to bring it below this one. All right. Now it's time to work. Let's try to add the mask again. Painting black, hide the pixel. So let's do that. And as you can see, the false, the picture false is coming to her eyes. And I think that looks amazing. And her tear can be described in this way. It's a little bit corny. I'm just gonna keep the eye though. Okay, that works. If you want to bring back the pixel again, all you need to do is paint it white with the brush tool instead of black. And there you go. We can do obviously more. What we can do in this case is, let's say, select subject and refine the edge with brush and layer mask, blend with gradient mask. If you go to gradient tool and choose this black to white, you can see the changes are only being made to the part where my mask is. There you go. This is what we call gradient mask. And you can refine this further with the brush tool. For example, there's too much white in this place. That is why I'm just gonna remove that one with my own white. There you go. You can also add texture with clipping mask. For that, you need to import your texture and place it above the portrait layer, which is this one. This is the one that we are calling portrait layer. And yeah, that's basically it. This is what you can do with mask and use it in your Photoshop and editing. That will be all. Thank you for watching. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the video Photoshop Fundamental, and in this video we're going to talk about text in Photoshop. We're talking about adding styling text. Okay, so text in Photoshop let us add titles, caption, watermarks, or stylish typography to our design. Let's add a new picture. Okay, let's add this. Okay then, I think it's perfect. Now to add text, you need to select the text tool or type tool, which can be done by pressing T. And click on the canvas. And there you go, we have our text. Now if you want to edit the part, let's try that again. Instead of lorem ipsum, let's add something like text design. And as you can see, the text is actually in a separate layer instead of within the same layer. And that gives us an advantage that we're creating a non-destructive method of photo editing. I think it will look much better if it was in different color instead of black. So let's change the color to white. There you go. Now there are many ways to edit this picture and give it different kind of level of this editing. First of all, the alignment. As you can see, the box has their own alignment within the picture and or canvas. Usually they are in the middle section, but when you type the alignment button, I don't think it's really working, and it is supposed to work this way though. But yeah, we have the option to choose. That was supposed to center the text, but this is just letting it go to the left side instead of getting it centered. You can change the font size and font style, change color, and also create a dynamic text. And if you are not sure about the dynamic text, if you want to do it manually, you can do it by increasing or decreasing space between lines, or this is the space between line, and this is the space between the character. You can give it underline, make it italic, or make it bold. Up to you. Now, this just come in handy when this text has multiple line instead of just text design. Let's try writing that twice or 3 times. Now this will come in handy. Instead of auto, let's add more point to it. Make sure to select them first. Uh, and with this, we can increase or decrease the spaces between the character or word. There you go. Something just doesn't work here. You can increase this part by using the panel that you have here in the dynamic text. There are actually more options if you just scroll down. You can also separate them in a bullet point like this. Well, you should try it. Maybe your Photoshop is not so buggy as mine or the version of mine. As you can see, it's not clearly working. And there are different ways to insert this bullet point. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about fonts and type layer, which are essential for design in any kind of project, whether you're making posters, social media, graphic, or branding. Photoshop gives you full control over text, style, and placement. Let's start with adding a type layer. To add a type layer, every time we add text, Photoshop create a new separate type layer, which we don't have to create ourselves. So to add a type layer, you just need to select the T or the type layer here and press anywhere in the canvas. And there you go, we have a layer called type layer. This means we can move styles and edit it anytime without affecting the actual image. All right, I'm just going to write cat of the jungle, make it different color, white, and I'll also change the font. And try to place this in the center. There you go. If you don't like where it's placed, you can always just move it out of the way or have it in your way. Now we get lots of option in the option bar. As you can see, we get to transform this with our own style from here. Height, width, placement in x-axis or y-axis. You can also rotate this slightly or not so slightly. But I think rotation does work here. So I'm just going to revert this to 0. And you can also find all sorts of option like making it bold, italic, and give it an underline. or can be all three at a time. We can also add colors like I did from the color box. Now the Photoshop has actually two type of text. There are two type of text: point text for short titles and paragraph, and text for longer section. Let's try to explore that part. This will be our title, and let's add another for paragraph, like cat of the jungle lives in a jungle, eat mice, hunt rats. There you go. I don't think we need the bold option here or underline. Now we can add more of this option here just by going to Windows and look for character. As you can see, we got more here, like all caps or small caps, giving it an underline directly strike through and all that. We also got paragraph point for this paragraph when you have multiple line. Some increases the line space within the line, some decrease it. There you go. And as you probably have guessed, we have more than that. We're again looking for character, but this time let's look for character style. And this is actually it. If you wanted, you could convert them to shape or convert them to frame. And then again, you can also merge them down or create a style from this layer. And that's basically it, I guess. You got two options for just title and for paragraph. So do it separately. Otherwise, there might be a mix-up. And that will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.